With Edna, I'm one of the main people who generated this symposium, the idea to bring migration, health, and security together around the question of vulnerability. And so I was very thrilled to see all the people here. A lot of the professors that came out today were some of the preeminent scholars in the field of Latino studies. So it was an honor to be there and hear the way that they're thinking. There's a diverse way of thinking about migration, health, and security. And I think that the symposium went really well. One of the strengths of it, it's meant to be a book project, and one of the strengths of the book and of today's events is the interdisciplinary nature. So Latino studies opens up the ability for us to study policy and to study health and to study, discourses, and to bring in militarization and security and community organizing and social movements and all of these things together so that we can understand the current context for Latinos today. What I focused on today had to do with our current biodefense agenda and the way that our focus on biological agents, particularly bioweapons, has serious implications for migrants, because I really feel like our biodefense agenda racializes particular populations and paints them, at least through the kinds of discourses that we use and through policy documents, as a biological threat in terms of infectious disease. The idea being, so I talked specifically about swine flu, and the idea that when swine flu hit, migrants were disproportionately affected by the media backlash, because migrants, particularly Mexican migrants, were seen as carriers of swine flu and therefore dangerous, biologically dangerous to the U.S. In farm worker communities, people were shunned. And there is, at least at the policy level, within the FBI and other agencies, there's a real fear that mobile bodies are transporting infectious disease and are contagious and contaminating. And so this is a way that our biodefense agenda and our infectious disease agenda, or our public health agenda, impacts migrants moving bodies, right? People who cross borders, and particularly poor people, because we know that they live in conditions that render them structurally vulnerable. Their housing conditions, and often they don't make a lot of money, so they live in poverty, and it's not their hygiene practices, it's the conditions in which they live. And so by virtue of their structural vulnerability, they are more prone to get things like TB. And then there's a fear that they will contaminate the larger public. So my presentation really looked at the intersections of our infectious disease research and framework in the U.S. for prevention, our biodefense agenda around biosecurity and biological agents, and the question of migration. I think that the Latino Studies department has a lot to offer. One of the things that I've realized is that I myself study indigenous culture and movements, social movements. So that falls within the rubric of Latino studies because there are a lot of indigenous populations, but I also look at health policies and a lot of other things. So I think one of the strengths of the Latino Symposium is that it is open and people from diverse fields can come to the symposium and take something away, whether they're in sociology, communications, linguistics, medicine, whatever their disciplinary home is. I think that if they come to the symposium every year, they will get a different perspective on issues that are concerning to them.